If you need a laugh, my next guest is a highly decorated queen of comedy. She's won Emmys, Golden Globe Awards. She even has her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She was the celebrated trailblazer for women in comedy, beloved by millions who sat down to watch her hit on ABC, the sitcom in the 1990s, named after her. Her brass, blunt style endeared her to Americans of all political stripes. I don't think I missed an episode. Until there was one tweet. It changed her life. So how did this comedian who once ran for the presidential nomination of the Green Party become a right-wing MAGA extremist? She will go into this. This is a fascinating podcast. Welcome to the podcast, Roseanne Barr. Before we get to Roseanne, there are several ways you can try to deal with aches and pains in your bodies. Probably the most popular one is taking stuff that masks the pain, and then you go about your day as if you're kind of in a fog. You can grit your teeth, push through it. That's not really good. That's not going to work. Or you could try something completely different. The truth is you need something that's going to defeat the pain, not mask it, and it should be all natural. Relief Factor, 100%, all natural, drug-free supplement that does not mask your pain, but helps your body eliminate the pain. It uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that support your body's response to inflammation. Over 1 million people have tried Relief Factor. 70% of them have gone on to order more. Give Relief Factor a try with their 3-week quick start, $19.95, less than $1 a day. Try it and see how it could turn the clock back on your pain. 800, the number 4 relief. 800 4 relief. Welcome, Roseanne.
Thank you very much for having me. It's good to be here.
It is. It's great to have you here. It's a little surreal because you are kind of like America's mom for at least some generations.
Yeah, I know. It's very gratifying to still hear it from people.
I saw you with Tucker Carlson, and you talked about that, and it seemed that you were almost teary-eyed when you talked about how there are people that come up and how you still feel kind of responsible for people that watch the show.
Yeah.
Did I have the right take or not?
Oh, well, for people who feel for me and for people who say that I meant something in their lives and to them, that touches me deeply. And
you must hear that a lot.
I do hear it a lot, and I have heard it for many years. Yeah. And I think that I'm kind of the mom of the broken. And some are okay put together, too. But especially for people who said in a moment of real doubt and weakness and depression that I came through.
Yeah.
That's great.
How did you get, because you had a tough childhood in some ways. Mm-hmm. You grew up around victims of the Holocaust, mm-hmm. survivors of the Holocaust. Mm-hmm. So you kind of had that spooky kind of
scary stuff, yeah.
Scary stuff, always,
yeah.
Right? And then
I thought we were still living in that place when I grew up because, it was so real and everybody, it was just very present. And I thought, oh, we're still there. I thought we were still in the Warsaw Ghetto.
How does that affect you today? I mean, what's it like to be a Jew today?
Oh, it's real scary. It's like, okay, here it comes. It's always like kept at bay, particularly in America, the hope of everyone, the world. And, because it's the melting pot where the only place on earth where you are born with inalienable rights, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Mm-hmm. In no other document does that exist. Mm-hmm. So that means something to people who fled here in fear of their lives. A new beginning and all that. And, just that melting pot of people who fled to freedom and liberty. So It just means something. And that we defeated that giant, or we thought we did. Yeah. But the real history is way deeper than that, as we know.
I remember the ADL calling me an anti-Semite.
Oh, they called you that too?
Oh, yeah.
They called me that. Yeah. They call everybody that.
Yeah. They called me that the year I got the Defender of Israel Award from Benjamin Netanyahu.
Well, that's why.
Right. But, and why they said that is I said, we're planting the same seeds. It doesn't help once the crop is in. No. You can't plant the seeds of this. And that's what has happened. And now we're seeing the harvest is ripe, and it's not good all around the world.
Not good. No, it's not good. But, you know, when you get in bed with the devil, he takes, you know, he wants his price. Nothing's for free.
Would you have said that 20 years ago?
I was saying it my whole life.
Your whole life. Okay.
Understand.
And you really, you meant it, though, your whole life.
Yeah, when I was just a kid, I was like, you know, I knew that it was, that I was part of whatever it is that fights that. And that was the core of my whole being, my whole soul, my whole life. No to that. No to hatred. No to that kind of thinking where you are addicted to hate, because that's what it is. And that you think you are so perfect, that you are so arrogant that you think, oh, I do none of these bad things, but they do. Yeah. That, just that mind virus, and that I see, I've seen it my whole life. Yeah. And I'm very sensitive to it, and I hate it. I hate it because as a Jew, and you too, all of us who hold Torah to mean something, it says in there, you must hate evil. It doesn't say tolerate it or, you know, look the other way or just say, oh, I need to understand evil. It says hate it, and I have always hated it, and I hate it when it raises its ugly head, and it is here, got a foothold. Any place where there's self-righteousness, that's where it starts working. That's good fertilizer for it.
Yeah, it's really good.
And we in America, we really like to be self-righteous for a lot of reasons, you know. And they feed us with it, saying, oh, it's these people, that people, you know, that party, this party. All of it is to deflect from you looking at you, isn't it? Because all that war, Torah tells us too, all the war in the world comes from the war inside. Yeah. And if you can't solve the war in you, of course, you're going to project it everywhere, and you're going to see evidence of it everywhere. But if you are somebody who thinks arrogantly, that means you're very ignorant, and you're on a path straight down.
Yeah. I used to, I swore off certitude a few years back, because I used to be certain that I was certain about a few things, and now I'm only certain that I'm not certain about anything.
Oh, I love that you brought up certainty, because that's really a core part of everything. And I know what you mean about being certain of your opinions.
Yes.
Yeah.
But everything has changed.
I agree with you there. Yeah.
Everything has changed. During Occupy Wall Street, you and I wouldn't have been sitting at the same table, and yet I have a different view of that time period and some of the people involved now than I did back then, and you do as well. It's weird how you can never predict.
Well, I don't know if we'd be on different sides.
You don't think so?
No, I went there the first day that it was put together, because I always go someplace to find out for myself. I never accept what anyone else says. I do it for myself.
So were you for it at the time?
I wanted to go see what it was about.
Okay.
And what I found is not what anybody else would say, because I'm always true to myself, because I'm a, you know, you hate to say things, you sound self-righteous, but I mean, I'm deep into my beliefs, and they're core to me. And when we talked about certainty, that's the only place I have certainty.
Me too.
Right? In my belief. So in my connection with my God, you know, my creator and the Torah, you know. So I went there to see for myself because I don't believe anything people do. They say one thing and do another every minute. So I don't believe anything they say. I just witness. I watch. So I went there and I was seeing what they were doing and I was seeing for myself. Plus I have these eyes that God forced me to have. And I'm like, why? Why am I seeing this?
Right.
When nobody else in the world sees it like this, why do I have to see this? Like, why am I the one that goes and sees people doing these things? And those people doing them things, they don't think anyone can see them. That's one thing that I've learned in my life. They think they're invisible or something.
But they are to some people. A lot of people, aren't they?
Yeah, because they think they've tricked us so fully that we are incapable of seeing through the guise. But I got those eyes. And, you know, like I say, he forced me to have these eyes. I didn't ask for it, but just the way I lived and was born and brought up, I have them. So I went to Occupy Wall Street. And I saw the children of the guys in the building demonstrating against their fathers while they were probably on, you know, an expense account from their parents. Wow. And I saw a lot of ungrateful little leftist bastards. And that's what it was all about, the privilege of that.
Yes.
To bite the hand that feeds you. And I think that's what it still is. And then they came to me. And of course, you know, we'll go into this is for a longer time. But, you know, then they wanted to buy up all the debt of, it was always about student loans. And that was part of my thing when I ran for president in 2012. But anyway, they wanted to buy up debt on Wall Street, these Occupy Wall Street. And I'll tell you how I like to break stuff down. That's what comics do. But I got a vengeance for it because I don't like BS. I don't like to be lied to. I don't like to be tricked or BS'd. Right. In fact, I get all of my thrills from busting it down. I just get a thrill.
I know.
And so I said, so you're asking me to help you pay Wall Street. That's what you're asking. Me to help you raise money to pay your dad on Wall Street. So, see, I'm always trying to get to the joke, which is the zing. I like the zinger. Ba-doom, you know?
Right.
And, of course, then they were like, you're a fact or whatever. Then they go to the name calling when they're caught. But I love it. I go, here, I just try and make God laugh. Right. You know, in my mind, he's the greatest comedian, and I love how he's exposing everyone. They're all humiliating themselves right in front of our eyes with their Kamala Harris. We have not one American serviceman serving anywhere to cut to all of those guys going, what is she talking? I mean, the exposure, the veil of BS has fallen away. I think that is God because he's making himself more visible in this world because of mass media and, you know, all this stuff that they can't hide behind or lie no more. No church, no state can prevent the people from access to truth and information. This is like the age we're winning. The age we're living in is so huge, and for truth, and that's never happened. It's a renaissance of truth. So I just love being in that. You know. So
you think we're at the beginning of that?
Oh no, I think we're in the eye.
Really?
Yeah. We already weathered a whole bunch of stuff, and we're in the eye and coming out of the eye. And
wow.
I think
I hope you're right on that.
No, I think I am. I feel it, you know.
I feel it too. I wonder if we have enough time, because I think it's a horse race to the finish line. Not for mankind.
Biden carrying the MAGA red cap onto Air Force One. Biden saying to Kamala, who's trying to say she has nothing to do with the Biden administration right now, on day one, well, this is day 3,000, baby.
Right.
the mind trick she's trying to pull on all of us, and then Biden on The View going, I really did nothing. I turned it all over to Kamala, and she's more than capable. I mean, it's hilarious.
It is.
It's
you could not write
exposure
it.
to the 10th degree if you have the eyes to see it.
Yeah.
You know, it's hilarious.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I would hate to be a comedy writer today because we're watching the biggest parody. I mean, you watch it and you're like, it's not just me, right? This would be hysterical if it wasn't our country.
Yeah, it is hysterical.
Yeah.
And it's even more hysterical when you like factor in that anybody is buying it at all.
Yeah.
That's even more hilarious. It's a Monty Python sketch. Oh, definitely he's definitely the person to vote for. She's definitely in charge and can handle.
Right.
And then yanking it all out the back door to give to Zelensky. It's hilarious. But so many people don't understand what a joke it is and how hilariously sad it is.
Yeah.
But I think we're supposed to laugh it to scorn. And that's what comedians were cheerleaders for, laughing power to scorn.
Were you concerned about the state of comedy? Because it's made a comeback.
Fierce.
Yeah, fierce.
Here in Texas.
Yeah. But, I mean, for a while there, it was insane. No one could crack a joke. No one could say anything. I've never seen that in America. Had you ever seen that?
No, I never saw it. When Obama signed the NDAA, I wrote on Twitter, well, that kills comedy. And it did. And everybody got scared. And, nobody said anything. And so...
Who's the Lenny Bruce today?
There's a lot of them.
Couldn't have said that 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
No, everybody's stepping up. Because I talk to a lot of young comics, and I say to them, when they ask me, and a lot of them do ask me, for my opinion, and I go, we got to be braver than we've ever been. That's what we have to do. And they are. Like, there's so many young comics that they are just kicking down the doors. Well, everybody knows we have to. I mean, anybody who's worth anything and knows what a gift it is to have the mind of a comic, that's a gift from God, You can't waste it. You can't pander with it. You got to go full force. It's a muscle.
Did you want to be a comic your whole life, even when you were a kid?
Yeah. And my family was real funny. And the only way you could keep from my dad hitting you in the head is if you'd say it funny. Like, you couldn't say anything, make my dad mad. He had a short temper. And but if it was funny, he'd laugh because he wanted to be a comic, too. My dad was really funny, but a mean kind of funny.
Yeah.
And he always went too far. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm my dad. But I always go too far, too. And then I'm like, oh, thanks, Dad.
But isn't that part of it? I mean, a good comedian will go too far occasionally because your job is to push it.
Even if it ruins my life. That's right.
Did it ruin your life?
It ruined my entire life for approximately 10 days. Yeah, it was a horror. And then
But you made enough money to not care, right?
Yeah, but, the money, I thought, I was glad to have money. Hell yeah. I grew up on the welfare cheese,
Yeah.
So, but the goodwill that I had built, that they took that away, too. And I had a really...
That hurts more than anything else.
The thing that hurt the most is I was always so proud of having a diverse audience. So they shoved that, knife right between me and my black fans, which was the worst thing they could have done to me. And, but, I told Tucker when he got axed, because I had a couple years on him, because we both got fired #1.
Yeah.
Which isn't even capitalism. I don't even know what the hell. But anyway, I said, well...
That's a state-run media.
Yeah. It's Pravda, right?
Yeah.
So, but I told Tucker, it's like when God took us out of Egypt, He removed us from slavery, and we wandered around in the desert for a while trying to get our bearings. Hopefully not 40 years like those guys did. They didn't have GPS then, I say. Or maybe they did. But then all of a sudden you start realizing you've been led to the promised land of free, creative space.
It's really different,
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. When you're working in a space where you're not looking over your shoulder because a shoe is going to fall.
Yeah.
You know, it is so great to be, and I've been lucky enough to be able to do that for a while. We have diverse staff, and we don't all agree on everything.
Of course.
We're just like Americans.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
And we all have a sense of humor.
We all used to make fun of each other, I mean, especially the comics, and we still do.
Yeah.
You know, we tell black jokes to each other, you know, because there's black people in the room. That's why they don't like race jokes, because they never have black people in the room. It's true. And we tell, you know, Jewish and Catholic jokes because those people are in the room and we're friends. And it's wonderful because it takes all the difference away. It's a laugh.
Yeah. And when I know I don't ever make a joke about people that I don't like. That's just knifing them in the back.
Yeah.
You know, people I love. I mean, my family's probably a little like yours. We're brutal on each other.
Of course.
Brutal.
Oh, it's so fun.
I know, it's so fun. We went on vacation about a year ago, and I think we were in day 3, and my daughter said something to me, and I said, hold on just a second. Do you realize, I think it's been 3 days, and I don't think any of us have said one sincere thing to the other. It's just all sarcasm. It's fantastic.
We never say sincere things either.
Yeah.
Ours are all fat jokes because everybody's kind of overweight or has eating disorders or something because it's so cultural.
Right.
But it's all fat jokes. And they're all so mean, but like even the really, really fat ones... They tell the meanest fat jokes, but it's just fun.
Yeah.
And it's just fun.
It's fun, especially when it's a family. We were, I was going into a gallery that was considering taking some of my art, and we had never met
Your
them.
art, I didn't even know you did it, but I saw it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm sitting in this gallery, and I said to my daughter before, I said, I dare you. I dare you. And she's like, don't tempt me, Dad. I'll do it. And I'm like, you'll never do it. We sat there, and they had just said, we'll take you on. And they were talking to the family, and they got to her, and she said, little actress, she's Lucille Ball. And she kind of wells up with her eyes, and she said, they asked about, you know, how are things with your dad? What's it like around the house with him as a painter and stuff? And she wells up, and she says, I swear to you, he doesn't beat me. We all laughed. They didn't, but we had a great time. We had a great time.
That's good.
Yeah. So you are, let's go back to 16 years old. You're in a car accident, right? You were hit by a car?
Yeah, I got run over.
And brain damage? What happened?
Yeah, the hood ornament went in my head, through my skull, into my, you know, it went right in there in the brain. And then my legs got hooked under the tire, and she dragged me 30 feet, you know, impaled there by my brain, and dragged me.
How did she not?
Well, the sun was in her eyes. It was a crest of a hill going, you know, early in the morning there. And so I woke up in the hospital with a couple days later out of coma.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that affect?
With my head shaved.
How did that affect you?
Well, oh gosh, in so many ways, you know. My mother says, you woke up a whole other person. You were so nice till you got hit by that car. And, I was, you know that I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we had a lot of Mormon neighbors, and so, you know, I was the only Jew in the neighborhood. And so
I have to tell you, that's a double whammy. I always say, I'm a Mormon, and that's like the Jew of Christianity.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? We're kind of shunned off to the side. Right. You're a Jew in a Mormon community and pretending to be a Mormon?
Well, we didn't pretend. My mom was very taken with the Mormon church, and that's the whole story. Yeah, that's a long one. Well, when I was 3,
we have time.
Oh, okay. Well, when I was 3, I wrote this in my book. When I was 3, I hit my face on a table leg, you know.
Yeah.
And I got Bell's palsy in my face. So my mom, here's how it goes. You know, Utah. Are you Salt Lake? Because that was different in the 50s.
Yeah. No, I lived in Utah for a while. And
not Salt Lake, though?
No, Provo.
Oh, Provo. Yeah. I was spent many months in Provo there. Yeah. The state hospital there.
Yeah.
But, in Salt Lake, it was like just a whole other world, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it made me, because everybody was really religious, and we just talk about God all the time. Like even when we played Barbie dolls, it'd be like, the Lord says, you know,
it's so great.
It is different than any other place.
Yeah.
But it was just part of our play.
Yeah. This is part of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my mom, the first thing she does is call the rabbi to come over and pray for me. And he says a prayer, nothing happens. So then she calls the neighbors, they're Mormons, to come over and pray for me the next day. So they come over and pray over me, and it goes away. So my mom says, you know how everything's a sign in the Mormon thing?
Well, Bell palsy goes away.
Well, I didn't know that. Okay. And neither did my mom. So my mom's like, this is a sign from God. And in my book, I say, why a health professional or a doctor is not consulted, you may ask. But that's just Utah. You never went to the doctor. You just have someone pray. And, you know, that's probably the best form of medicine they look at now. That's the control group where, you know, you think you're getting the placebo. Right. You're getting the placebo works better than, you know, because it's real deep stuff. And so my mom, she decides that that's the church for her, you know, although we never joined, but we did. We went, and me and my mom would travel all over Utah giving speeches for the Mormon church there on Sunday, talking about me being healed, you know. Wow. And I believed I was healed, and my mom believed I was healed.
You might have been. I mean.
Well, I was.
Yeah.
When I was 15, I was reading I say, because I was very paranoid, and, you know, from my upbringing and, you know, having Holocaust survivors as our friends, and growing up in an apartment house there, and things I saw and heard. But I read so my hobby was reading medical journals and crime stuff, forensics, and it's still that way. But anyhow, and it goes, Bell's palsy is largely a 48-hour to 72-hour thing. And I'm like, what? And then I get hit by a car like about a month later. When I come out of that coma, I'm pissed, you know, because nothing. So first thing I do when I'm out of the coma, I'm like, okay, I want a cigarette, you know. So I start smoking cigarettes. You know, because I had traveled all of Utah as, you know, president of the Mormon thing, Mormon church groups, and always, you know, I spoke. That's where I did my first stage time, was in the Mormon church. Wow. And I'd, you know, throw in some jokes. You know? And my mom played the piano and led choirs, and I also led Mormon choirs. I was this person. Wow. Children's music. But, well, I come out of it, and I'm like, I'm having a cigarette, that I just become like had an insulated life in that little community. I never did anything like bad till then. Okay, cigarettes, smoking a marijuana cigarette. I tried to drink beer, but it made me sick. Coffee, anything, you know, because I was like.
It's weird. When you're in, it's kind of like Rome. When you're in that bubble, it tends to make people choose hard each directions. You have the edges. So when you go bad, you're like, I want all of it.
Well, I realized later, and plus I would be submerged into these horrible nightmares that were just horrible. And later I find out, well, that's from a chronic head injury. I had all that going on, you know. And then I would put myself in these terrible positions. And like my mom says, maybe I wasn't really the old Roseanne, I was the other Roseanne. And then I started hitchhiking across the country by myself.
Oh, my gosh. And wasn't Ted Bundy? Ted Bundy was from Utah, wasn't he?
Well, no, he was from, I think he's from Washington, but he came to.
Yeah, okay.
He came down there. And
so you thought hitchhiking was a good idea?
I don't believe the stuff I did. Lived in a cave, lived in parked cars, crazy stuff, was homeless, did crazy. And I wanted to be a hippie so bad. I didn't even know what it was, but, you know, everybody was doing it at Haight-Ashbury, and I wanted to do that. So I got these sheets from Sears and made these long dresses. And then I got a guitar, which I didn't know how to play, but I carried it around and stuff. And then I go sit on the corner in this, and I made all these love beads, and I put about 50 love beads on my neck, and I sewed them on so they can never come off because I did everything wrong. But I'd sit at the corner with this guitar going, how many, I couldn't even play it. How many roads? I just portrayed, I had to portray this, I don't know.
You're playing a role.
Well, I had to portray the not me. Mm-hmm. You know, and then I was shipped off to the mental institution shortly thereafter.
Well, wait, when you woke up after the coma, did they institutionalize you then? Yeah,
2 months later, because I was just doing all these weird things.
Wow.
But it wasn't me. And I had been an A math student. I was doing calculus in 9th grade. And I couldn't even add. I could no longer even add. And I couldn't read or keep information. I couldn't retain information, but I mean, it was a chronic head injury, you know, and so they put me in the nut house there in Provo. Huh. I was always like, I'm going to meet Marie Osmond because I loved her. I just loved Marie Osmond.
In the nut house?
Well, I thought when we go out for our things, when we go out to see the computer wore tennis shoes for the 19th time, that was our only outing in the state hospital there. I might run into Marie Osmond.
Wow.
Which I did on The View many years later, sitting there with her. And I said, Marie, when I was a kid, I looked up to you so much. And I thought, I'm going to be the second star that comes out of Utah, like Marie Osmond. She goes, I never grew up in that backward state. And it blew my mind. She goes, I was raised on the beaches of California. I was not raised in that backward state where people are.
You're kidding.
And I was like, huh? Marie.
Wow. That's kind of sad.
It was kind of sad.
That's really sad.
Nothing is what you think.
I know. Have you met anybody that's famous or that you wanted to meet?
Oh yeah, I met everybody I wanted.
No, I know, but I mean, what's the percentage that you went?
What do you mean?
I met B.B. King. I'm a huge B.B. King fan.
I met him too. I got to open for him.
Well, I just went backstage and met him. And my wife, who I was dating at the time, fell asleep in his concert. I'm a huge B.B. King fan. She doesn't care. We went backstage. He didn't even look at me, but he looked at her and said, come on over here and sit on BB's lap. And I'm like, she slept. She looked so refreshed because she slept during your concert. There's few people that you meet. I've sworn it off of people I really like, except right now. Because there's so many times when you meet people and you're like, they're not, that's not who I thought they were going to be.
Well, sometimes that happens, like Robert De Niro, bust. That guy.
Really?
Yeah, he wasn't nice at all.
He doesn't seem nice.
No.
So. Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. At a party there, and that one was a bummer. But let's see. And when when somebody doesn't like me, which in Hollywood that happens a lot, like I can't remember her name, Stockard Channing.
Yeah,
she's a old bitch too. And when they don't like me, I don't know if it's just me because I'm me and always was weird. But also when I get nervous, I don't know why I do, but it's probably because I'm a comic. Well, then I just have to be really nice to them when they're not nice to me and just keep hanging around and being really, really nice till I force them to walk away.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just like, you're not going to beat me down. It's going to be the other way.
Wow.
Because it's always a mental chess.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, it is so lovely. It's so lovely. It's just so wonderful. And, then that's...
I've got to try that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
They're like...
Was the...
But I've met so many that were thrilling.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Gregory Peck.
Wow.
Oh, hell yeah. Right there in line at the 7-Eleven.
Wow.
And I had been on TV on Johnny Carson a few times, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm standing. And so I'm like, Mr. Peck, I, love you. What was that movie we all watched? The Mockingbirds.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah. I go, can I have your autograph? I've never asked anyone for that, And he was just a dream from heaven. He goes, certainly you may, if I can ask you for yours as well.
Oh, wow.
That was a thrill. The other thrill, Sammy Davis Jr.
Love him.
Oh, my God. We were eating at Patsy's, me and my sister, and he was having a party with his family in another room, and the guy said, the waiter comes out and he goes, would you like to meet Sammy Davis Jr.? And I'm like,
yes.
Yes. Well, he would like to come out and say a word, have a word with you. I'm like, oh, hell. So here he comes. I can't believe it. And he said things to me that I still can't believe. So loving, so complimentary, so gentle, so fatherly, so wonderful. And my sister, she, raises money for, Jewish things. And so she's a pro at the, and she goes, you, sir. And so my sister goes into the whole, we know everything about Sammy Davis Jr. because he was Jewish and we loved that he converted and all we loved. So she goes, you, sir, are the greatest entertainer. And she goes into a whole, and then he tops it. And so it was like a night at Friars Club, just the three of us. It was one of the greatest. Phyllis Diller, Rodney Dangerfield, Dick Gregory, that one was so deep. And Richard Pryor.
George Carlin?
George Carlin.
Robin Williams?
Yes. I mean, I could.
You look back at your time and think, I can't believe, this has been my life.
How about this one? Tony Bennett invited me. Nobody knows about this. They won't believe it, but I have the picture. He invited me to sing with him for 4 presidents, which I did.
You've got to be kidding.
No, I did that.
What did you sing?
That was after the Star Spangled Banner, where everyone hated me and thought I, was trying to destroy our country.
You were just...
I started too high, basically. And I knew I couldn't go there, so I had to... I go,
ham it up.
I go, make it funny at least.
Yeah.
I want to run away, but I knew I couldn't.
Wow.
But, and the night before I did it, I went on Johnny Carson. He goes, whatever you do, as Robert Goulet told me, don't start too high. But they didn't give me a note. Anyway, it's my fault. Whatever. But Tony Bennett was so nice. And after that, he invited, to kind of help me back. to sing with him for 4 presidents.
Wow.
I know.
What did you sing?
I can't remember. I don't even remember, but we rehearsed it for days.
Wow.
And then we did it. And we did it somewhere in Hollywood. It's all blank.
Wow.
But I actually did it, and I sounded good. Of course, I was singing with Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
And the presidents were there, and it's just a blur. I've blocked it. But that one was a big one. I've had Johnny Carson calling me in and saying, "Do you write your own material?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You're going to be the biggest comedian ever, and you have my personal guarantee for that."
Wow.
Look, those things happened to me.
Wow.
Those things all happened to me, and more, all over the world. For me, I mean, it's just, you know, I.
Did you when you left Roseanne? Did you have any friends that stood up for you publicly? Did anybody? I mean, I reached out to ABC.
I heard you did that. It's very kind of you. Thank you.
It's wrong. We don't cancel people. We don't cancel
and kill
people.
them and kill their character.
Yeah, yeah.
And then steal their life's work and turn it libtard.
Let's talk.
That's what really burns me.
I want to go back to what you just said. They killed Roseanne.
Yeah. Well, they think they did. They killed the character on the show.
That's incredible.
And then they asked me, check this out. Then they called me when they saw nobody's. Anyway, they called me and asked me, did I want to make a guest appearance on the show they stole from me?
I'm dead.
As a ghost.
Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh.
I said, I'm bowling that day. They're demonic. They're so short-sighted because they're arrogant and ignorant. But, you know, they are just evil, too. What they did to me was evil. But what made me so mad, because I was waiting for the other shoe to drop since I went back, because they hated Trump so bad. And I thought, well, when they hear the facts.
No.
But then I knew,
no.
Oh, it's because they know the facts. That's why they hate him.
But it was consistent with the show. Donald Trump is the guy for the blue-collar worker.
That's what I said.
Even if you personally didn't like him, he's the guy the Connor family would have supported.
Of course. And I didn't want to be the one that was for Trump because I thought that was too on the head. I thought it should have been, Dan Connor. Because it was mostly working class men that were, at that time. Mm-hmm. But he wouldn't do it. John Goodman wouldn't do it, and neither would any of the other characters on the show portray the Trump voter. But I wanted to show both sides still loving on each other in the same family, because that's America.
Yeah.
And maybe fighting about it, but certainly not trying to kill each other. And they were trying to push us to that. And that's why I came back, because I didn't want to see America polarized like that. And I knew that their whole thing was leading to segregation. I knew it. And I knew that's what the left was going for.
But that is what Norman Lear did with All in the Family. Two very big opposites, but they did not break up the family. It's still, the family was still together, and they'd have brawls, but it was funny, and in the end, they still loved each other. And ABC didn't see that?
No, and I also wanted to show that the working class is the most integrated class in America.
Yes.
And, they hated all that, too. But the thing is that nobody would portray the Trump voter, and I felt it was too on the head for me to do it. But it fell to me because nobody else would do it. I thought it was too on the head, but someone had to do it, so I did it. And then that all was the perfect storm and somebody overheard one of my writers, in fact, it was Wanda Sykes, that said, I'm just afraid this show, in the writer's room, I'm just afraid this show is humanizing Trump voters.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. One of the writers on the Roseanne show. Humanizing Trump voters.
What'd you say?
Well, someone reported it to me. I said, I'm not going to renew her contract. And she was the first one to say that to interpret through libtard eyes what my tweet meant, which it didn't mean. The left is as ignorant as it gets. And they are so morally compromised, as I say. When you have double standards, you have no standards.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the left is so compromised by their double standards, and double standards mean you have no standards. I mean, it's got to be one law all the way down the line,
right?
Or you are everything they claim we are: racist, classist, separatist. Unless you apply that same measure of judgment to both political parties, then you have no justice system. You have no justice. You know, when you're going after people who walked through, on January 6th, walked through the halls of, the hallowed halls of an election being stolen, and then people burning down and occupying that same building, nothing happens to them. For 10 times the insult and injury, nothing happens to them. But these people go 15 years, and you're like, yeah, because Trump's Hitler. What? What does that say about you? What does that say about your values, that you would hold those two disparate ideas and systems of judgment in your head at the same time and think you're moral? It's not.
They just have come to the place, though, that, I mean, we've said as kids, I don't know about you, but as kids, the thing was, if you could go back and kill baby Hitler, would you kill baby Hitler? Well, no, because the baby isn't Hitler yet, he turns into that. But that's what they think. They actually think he's Hitler.
Yeah.
And so the ends justify the means. It doesn't matter what they have to do. He's Hitler.
They believe any means necessary to, which is Hitler. That is Hitler. Any means necessary. That is Hitler.
They don't see it.
No, because, I don't, like I say, a soul can change, but a messenger cannot change. So it's like, it's on all kind of deep levels.
Right. You're talking spiritually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when all you do is parrot narratives that somebody else gives you, you're severely compromised.
And they're not pushed against the wall ever. Nobody ever challenges them. So
because they are privileged, just like them kids on Wall Street. They come from privilege, and they are in, they're packed in wool. They always have an out. They never go to prison. You notice that?
Yeah.
They're never going to jail. They never can't pay their bail. Kamala bails them out.
So
they are the shock troops of the Democrat Party machine. That, they're being used. And it makes me mad because they're paying them, like they're paying people to come here and with our tax dollars to destroy the people that are paying for everything. How stupid is that? To disenfranchise the taxpayers? I mean, can you get dumber than that? You can't get dumber than that.
No, unless you have a plan to destroy it and then reset everything.
Well, that is what they're doing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
Did you have a point to where, because you're not like a conservative, you're a socialist? You still consider yourself?
Well, I ran for president as a socialist in 2012, and that's when I had I wouldn't even call it a red pill, but when I wanted to find out for myself how it works, because I already was having thoughts. And when I got in there and saw how it worked, and saw why there is a third party and what their ground rules are and what they were to do, and who's running it. I saw for myself everything, and then I went, yeah, I'm going to found a whole new party, and I called it the Green Tea Party, because I wanted to see a synthesis between libertarian and socialist, because it's time for new ideas instead of old ideas that have never worked. Mm-hmm. It's time for like something that works for people, and I like capitalism. I don't like crony capitalism. No. I don't like vulture capitalism.
I don't think we've done capitalism for 100 years, at least 100 years.
That's what I am. I like freedom, and I like, you know, who was it? I can't remember the guy's name that said, yeah, capitalism tempered with empathy.
Yes.
That's it. So I say that I'm a constitutionalist. It all goes back to that we have a guarantee to the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and supposedly an entire constitution based on what Benjamin Franklin studied of the Iroquois Nation, a grandmother's council of representational government. I love it, and I'm for it. And these last however many thousands of decades I have left in my life, all my strength will go to the preservation of that. For my grandchildren and your grandchildren, everybody's grandchildren here. And the world. It's the only hope for the world, I think.
It's interesting how all of that, we're being taught to hate Donald Trump, and that it's all Trump's fault, and we're arguing with each other. But the entire Western world is passing the same laws. They're having the same problems. They're all overrun with migrants. The people are rising up and saying, wait, we don't want any of it. I mean, the stuff that the left and the establishment, really.
It is the establishment.
Yeah, the establishment, the stuff the establishment is pushing, I don't know anyone who's asking for it.
No, we're not asking for it. You know, with their installation of Kamala, they prove they don't want any input from voters. That's the last thing they want. And they've proven it. They want installation, and they just want power over people. And, you know, they use these ridiculous fulcrums to shove it down everybody's throat, such as fake social issues like transgenderism, which is really deep and ugly and horrible.
Hang on, before you say this, because I want to hear your opinion on this. You had one of the first LGBT characters on TV. I mean, yeah. You've never had a problem. Before Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and everybody else, I've always been, I don't care who you marry.
Yeah.
You know, don't tell my church that I have to marry you.
Yeah.
But I don't care if you want to go marry a tree, marry a tree. You know what I mean? Whatever. It's up to you. It's between you and your God.
Well, if the tree's consenting, I don't think they should.
Okay. So tell me about the transgender agenda, because you seem to be very strong.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, that was part of the whole thing against me, because when I came back to ABC, the first thing they did, the publicist, said, before I will represent you, because the publicists are all in bed with the devil in Hollywood. They're all, I always say, the lesbian-witch publicist cabal.
And you mean that literally?
Of course.
Yeah.
And she said to me, before I will, with my magnificence, entertain a flea such as yourself, an overweight, unkempt flea such as yourself, I need you to issue an apology to the transgender LGBTQCIA community for, and I said, I've already told y'all, no, I will not. And we sat there staring at each other. It all goes back to a case that happened in Washington, the Colleen Francis thing. Colleen Francis was a thing that happened in a university up there in Seattle, or one of those friggin' drug-addicted havens of craziness. And these little girls, it was a little girl softball team, and they had permission to use the facilities there for their little girl softball game, right? So after they played with their parents from age 7 to 13 or something, they went in the sauna there at the university on their prescribed time that they were to do. And there was a woman with a penis in there named Colleen Francis.
Mean a man.
No, a woman with... Glenn, what's wrong with you? Are you...
I'm sorry.
It was a woman
You're
with
right.
a penis.
It was a man.
It was a woman with a penis,
Right.
and that's my advice to today's women. Keep your penises in your pants, ladies. There's no excuse. Anyway, so Zim refused to cover Zimself in front of these little girls, and the mothers were very upset, and the little girls were upset, and they ran and they complained. Okay, don't you know what happened? The university took Zim's side, and I was outraged because I said, I've been so active for all my life in children's rights, against child abuse. Mm-hmm. And I said, we tell these little girls, that if the ice cream woman comes by and she shows her penis, that happened to my little kids, my kids when they were little.
Mm-hmm. That happened?
Yeah. To my little girls down the street, the ice cream woman, I don't know if she was trans. It was a guy with a penis.
Okay.
And they went down to get their ice cream, and that's what they saw. They were like 6 and 7 years old. Just some little girl's age. Well, don't you know, I took action on that, Mm-hmm. It's not gonna go. We tell our kids to be safe, not let bad touch. Well, I don't even think, now in the schools they're saying this is good touch. Mm-hmm. When a drag queen puts her wiener in your face, that's good touch. I mean, it's just crazy. And I just kept going with it because I was like, this is wrong. This is wrong. It doesn't make it makes no sense that you would make children your target. I'm not going to apologize. Well, they came after me. This was 2013. Oh my God, I saved every tweet. You're a cow, because they're tolerant. You're a cow. It went like this. I kept it in order. Cow, pig, fat slob, blah, 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 ends with Zionist baby killer. All of it, and it all ends with Zionist baby killer. I'm telling you, they're the same people.
Yeah, I know.
And they're sitting at home on disability. I'm probably paying their damn wage with my taxes there to sit on their ass and do that, to terrorize old women, and particularly old women who are for children's rights against them. And they're all in it together. They're all getting paid. And, it's just the witches.
I think
And they're protecting pedophiles. And children are their targets. And let's just be really real about it. And they're letting them out of prison after 3 months for 400 victims. And the schools are moving them around, the teachers' union, just like the Catholic Church did. If they offend against children, they move them to another thing in the public schools. It's not a lie. It's real. It is an epidemic of child sexual abuse, and America is the center of it in the world of child sex slavery and prostitution. I've done so many shows on it. And I'm just not going to let people pretend they don't see it anymore. That's why I love Trump. The first thing he did was sign a paper against human trafficking of children. And that's what they're doing at the border.
Yeah, look at that. Look at
and
what's
they're
happening
all for it. Because they have no standards and they have no morality. And it's not about their wieners or what their rights are, any of that. They're all involved in evil child murdering crap. And I'm not going to be silent about it, nor will I apologize to any of them. They can apologize to me for ruining, everything I worked for except for surprise, surprise, I'm back and I'm even stronger. And I have my own network now. And they can kiss my big, fat ass.
So here we are a few weeks away from an election.
42 days?
Yeah. And, George Soros, in my business, George Soros just got a waiver to buy 200 of the biggest stations in America. But it's his investment arm, not his social justice arm. So
that means he's getting it from us, the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Because his NGOs run on our money.
I know.
The guy's the biggest vampire. Oh, he's already threatened to sue me. I'm not supposed to talk about him. But vampire capitalism, if you look it up in the dictionary, it's his face. And his son's, who's a transgender. Yeah. His son is a Zim, too.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and he's marrying Huma Abedin. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah, I did know that.
See? Not one of them's ever went to jail, including the queen of it. She ain't. When I said, I was so excited to come on your show because you laughed when I said it's artificial intelligence in a war against artificial intelligence. And I just wanted to say, Hillary on TV saying people that are giving out misinformation need to be arrested. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
That is artificial intelligence at war against artificial intelligence.
It's crazy.
Isn't it?
It is. It is. Everything they do, they accuse the other side of. That's how when I was at Fox.
That's Alinsky.
That's how I could tell what they were going to do. I remember saying when I was exposing, all their deep money stuff in the Tides Foundation, they would kick back on a few things and they'd be like, absolutely, we're not doing that. That's what you're doing. And I would say to my staff, look there.
Exactly.
Look right there, because that's what they're doing.
They have to tell you.
Yeah.
It's in the devil manual. It is. It's right there in the devil manual.
I've never seen the devil manual.
Well, it's not really existing, but once you study how it all works, it's all counter information. So it's like COINTELPRO. The devil works like that. Get them to consent by putting out a movie like Obama does. Here's what's going to happen in this predictive program movie. Oh, we went and loved that movie. Well, then you just gave your consent to it. It's all a trick. It's all a trick.
More with Roseanne here in a second. But first, Good Ranchers is running a presidential promo. For a limited time, when you subscribe to any of their boxes, you're going to get a free add-on for a full 4 years. That's 4 years of free chicken breast, Angus ground beef, Applewood bacon, or wild-caught salmon with every order. And when you use my code Glenn, you'll also get $25 off your first box and free express shipping. That's up to $1,200 in savings with Good Ranchers. It's the place to get steaks and burgers and chicken and pork and seafood because they source everything from America. So you're getting top quality meats at a great price, and you're not buying meat that's coming in from overseas. Every cut is pre-trimmed, individually packed and vacuum sealed so you don't have freezer burn. No more wasted meals. Good Ranchers. They'll help you get the most out of every ounce you buy. Use the promo code Glenn and claim the presidential promo worth over $1,200. Bring 100% American meat to your family. It's goodranchers.com, promo code Glenn. American meat delivered. Do you live near Hollywood now?
No, I live in Texas. Hell yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You live in Austin. But you moved here, what, 3 years ago?
I got my guns.
And you shoot your guns?
Oh, hell yeah. I told you right. Not really. But no. I did go hunting and get a deer. I got me a deer. I got an 8-point buck. And then I ate him too.
Did you smear the blood on for your first kill?
Oh no, Jews, you've got to kosher it.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
okay.
We did that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we don't want to eat no blood, Jews. That's why we salt everything and get diabetes and are fat.
You have a hard time seeing you in camouflage.
Oh, I was there, dude, and I track and trace like the Chinese, that son of a bitch. I seen him in the bushes there behind the tree, and I got him with one shot right in the neck.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
It was cool.
Yeah. My daughter says she has cerebral palsy, and she shoots. And we'll go up to the ranch, and she'll shoot. And she says it's the only time she feels in control. You know what I mean? There's something to shooting that, just targets that, I don't know, empowers you a little bit. It's not that you're on this kick like I could go shoot everybody. It's just, it empowers you.
No, I know what it is.
What is it?
It's the focus of the mind and the eye and the finger. That's intense focus. And that's what comedy is for me, is that intense focus, the intense target to all of us comics say this, shot to the heart of the beast. And the heart of the beast is the hypocrisy of these people that think they're going to pull the wool over our eyes. Well, here's a joke for you. And when everybody laughs at them, that's the worst thing that could happen to them. Boy, they hate humor. They hate any joke that's about them. Yeah. Oh, they hate it.
Always have.
So we're going to tell more and more of them, and they're going to get sharper and sharper.
So I was just starting to say, 40-some days away from the election, I'm concerned about the loss of the platform if the left takes over, because they will censor everyone.
They'll put Musk in jail.
Yes.
Nationalize everything he's got.
Yes.
For their child trafficking operation and their drugs and weapons, more war. They want to kill a lot of people. They are addicted to blood.
They are. It's a blood cult.
They love blood.
It is. It's a blood cult.
They love to spill it and everything. They love war. They love death.
It's so weird how that has just, all of a sudden, the Democrats, who have always been the ones that are like, no war.
My dad said they were for my whole family was Democrats, and they still are. It drives me crazy. They think I am out there.
So how do you deal with that?
I can't believe them. I mean, I love them, but I'm like, my brother and sister are both gay. Everyone's gay, and so they ran to line up for to get the medicine, the shot. I'm like, they won't even see me because I didn't get it. They're like, hey, you didn't get the vaccination, so you can't come around us. Well, you're vaccinated. Isn't that the point? I say, isn't the point that you're vaccinated? Why
I would be the one that
can't I come around? If you're vaccinated, why do you have to protect yourself against me? You're vaccinated. They don't think right. They just are brainwashed. They're brainwashed.
Do you see us coming around?
Us?
No, the country. Do you see the country? What do you see in the future? Because I have no idea how this thing is going to work out. I mean, I've been pretty good at looking, over the horizon and say, this. All bets are off.
Here's what I think. And I also pray that I'm wrong. I'm like, I try to persuade God all the time, because we always have conversations every day. And
what are your conversations like with him?
God?
Yeah.
Why are you not doing what I'm telling you to do?
Yeah.
He's like, you'll find out in due time. Keep your pants on there. And I always do, of course.
Right.
You're right again. But I think that if Trump wins, there's going to be a big-ass civil war. And I think if Kamala wins, it's going to be a big-ass civil war. That's what I fear. It's people so deeply divided, and they're all such... so many people seem to not want to solve anything.
Yeah.
They just want to keep it going.
Well, we had 4 years to shore up our election system so we wouldn't have a civil war. You know, I don't think Americans have a problem losing when it's a fair fight. But nobody's going to believe. Whoever wins, nobody's going to believe. Well, what government does that unless they want the people to fight each other?
Well, they do. They want to depopulate. You know that.
Yeah.
They got to get rid of a lot of people because, you know, they have no place, as Richard Pryor said, to ride their horses.
Wow.
And, yeah, they'll do that. I have in my act, if just this once we could take all the hatred we have for each other that's been fed to us, and we just agree to set it aside for just a time. And instead we focus that hate that we have for each other, and we point it upwards towards the guilty at the top who are responsible for all this misery that makes us hate each other. And we do that together, everything would be solved.
It would be.
So the power of hate, let's harness it.
Why do I feel like I feel like I heard millions of voices cry out that suddenly we're stopped? It's the Death Star.
But it is the hatred of evil, not each other.
Yeah.
We're commanded not to hate each other, not another human, but to hate evil. And so let's try that. Let's try fair elections, America. Let's try ballots, paper ballots. Why not? Just this once.
I know, just this once.
And like I say to Americans, if you've never voted before, because the majority does never vote.
I know.
Just this once, for me, vote Trump because he has solutions that don't involve killing people.
You know, you've known him for a long time.
I've known him not well, but peripherally and kind of well on a spirit level.
What does that mean?
I have put my arms around him at Mar-a-Lago there. I was waiting to put my arms around for a really long time because I knew I could pray on him, you know. I've prayed on a lot of people, and a lot of times I have witnessed the benefit of that because I'm a strong believer. I hate the word believer.
You're a strong knower?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, if I can just get my arms around him, I'm going to say this one prayer that I know is a prayer of protection. And so I was always trying to get there. Well, one time I was taking a picture with him, and I go, here's your chance, you know. So I run in there, hello! And then the Secret Service guy grabs me, you know. And, well, no, it wasn't the Secret Service. It was Trump. He very gently rearranged my arms down to my sides.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like this. Hello, Roseanne. And I go, hell, I blew my chance. And then I go, I could have been shot that I was grabbing on him. But then I did see him at night because I was praying, God, give me the chance to get my arms on him, you know, around him. And here he comes as I was leaving drunk from having dinner with Junior. And I'm leaving, here he comes, just with his bodyguard. He's walking right up to me. And I knew it was the moment because all my hairs were standing, you know. So I just go, do it. So I did put my arms around him, and I just prayed on him for protection of him because he means so much to
so many.
He means so much to Jewish people because it is our, I believe it is our very existence hangs on him.
I'm surprised to hear you say that. I think he's amazing on that. Just amazing. But the existence hangs on God for the For the Jewish people.
Well, and I think God's working through Trump.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
And he's the only one who gets it. I mean that that other side of, you know, they hate Israel. They want it gone. You know, and it isn't just the name Israel. It's, you know, the largest group of Jewish people in the, you know, second largest in the world.
But only from the river to the sea.
Yeah, aside from that, you know, it used to be the whole Levant, but since the Democrats got in there and the liberals, this is the real truth, as they mouthed all their PLO propaganda that comes from the KGB, that's where it originates, and the Muslim Brotherhood, who went into business together, and Obama sits at the top of all of that. But since they did that, they actually kicked out all the Jews from every other country in the Arab world. Every Arab state is now Judenrein, while they were talking about their PLO Palestinian fake stuff. Every Arab state is now Judenrein, and they all went to Israel, and now they can circle in for the kill. This was a plan from Hitler.
Oh, I know.
And, you know, you don't get to hear about that. The press of this country is so compromised and so under the NWO, which is Nazi World Order Fourth Reich. We never get to say that on TV. Thank you, Glenn, for letting me say that.
Sure.
And, you know, it is like Satan hates the Jews. And Satan always has hated the Jews. And he's got many guises and ways to get around it. Different stories he makes up that people buy.
Do you think, because I have a different theory on this.
Good. What?
I don't know if he hates the Jews as much as he hates God, and God made a promise to Abraham. And Satan must have seen that and went, I just have to kill this group of people? Because if he breaks his promise, I win. And so he's
I can go for that.
Trying to kill the Jews because he actually thinks he's going to win.
Well, there's a whole different ways of looking at it. Like they say, some say, well, he wants to get rid of all the Jews because that's where the Messiah is going to come from, or did come from, whichever way you're. But he's supposed to come back, right? If you're a Christian, he's going to come back.
Soon. What time is it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Right.
But that's all a whole big subject.
Yeah.
But also in Torah it says, well, because we are in a spiritual war, and we all see it, but it's so great that we see it because we never saw it so clear. So this is good.
Yes.
Because it says in Torah, those are the birth pangs when people see clearly. Those are the beginning of something great when we see clearly.
Yeah.
But also in Torah it says that the devil, who God created, right? He didn't just spring up of his own power. That in the upper courts, when on Judgment Day, when God judges us after we die, he turns into the prosecuting attorney in the upper court because he knows our sins better than we do. So he goes after us here with full glee. And when we fall and he can get us to go bad, that's great for his case up there because that's what he's supposed to do, prosecute us for our sins that we went with him and did. He's like a double agent, you know?
Yeah.
And I like telling people that because they go, oh, shit. And everybody should have an oh, shit moment about right now. They should be having that and going, you know what? Maybe I'm going to have that still small voice inside me. Maybe I'm going to get right with that and look in the mirror and, you know, try to correct myself.
Yeah.
I hope everybody's doing that because who knows what's going to happen. I don't know what they're going to do to us next. But whatever it is, it's because God wants it to happen.
Amen. And it's...
He might need us to... He might need... There's two ways to learn in Torah. Torah says, you learn through joy or you learn through suffering.
Correct.
So maybe some of us...
I
don't know.
You know, it's amazing because I've always said if I went to a European or especially German Jew back in 1937 and said, you know what? Israel's going to come out of this. It will be you know, as a Jew, you would say, oh, okay, but how do I get from here to here? Mm-hmm. Something good is coming. Yeah. It's just the middle part that we're, you know, you're like,
well,
that could be tough.
It says in there, a lot of us are going to have to go.
Yeah.
A lot of us are, and this means all humans, a lot of us just can't choose. And the ones who choose wrong are definitely going to go. Mm-hmm. But the ones who can't choose good, they're going to go too. You know, that's how it works.
Would you be this way if you hadn't have grown up around Holocaust survivors? If you hadn't seen good and evil so clearly as a kid, do you think you would have stood up all these years and done the things that you've done, far as standing on principle?
I don't know. I just know what it is. Mm-hmm. I don't know what would have been if I would have been 6 feet tall, blonde, and had a waist. I might have made something of myself.
Okay, before you go, I've got a list of names. Okay, this is just rapid fire. Okay. First thing comes to your mind.
Do I just say something mean or nice?
No, you can say whatever comes to you.
Let me see what mood I'm in. Okay. I'm in my comic mood, so I'll be mean.
Yeah, this should be good and entertaining. Gavin Newsom.
Clone.
Taylor Swift.
They made him off the scrapings of Nancy Pelosi's, what do you call it? What's it called? Fupa.
Loofah.
Fupa.
Fupa. Okay. Taylor Swift.
Satan.
Really, do you want to? We don't have to stop and.
I just can see who's doing the devil's work. She is just. I guess she's talented, cute.
Satan. Travis Kelce.
Plant.
What do you mean?
He's her beard.
White dudes for Harris.
Oh my Lord. Satan.
Zelensky.
Satan.
Are you going to give all of these Satan?
Well, they are.
Okay. Putin.
Scary.
Xi Jinping.
Scary.
Nancy Pelosi.
Satan. Scary. Worse than all the above. Okay.
Pete Buttigieg.
Oh God. Zim.
Mark Hamill.
Clone.
Mark Ruffalo.
Oh my God. Hamas.
The cast of The View.
Lesbian witches.
George W. Bush.
Satan.
John Goodman.
Whiner.
The people that make up BlackRock.
I pray for them every day because Rosh Hashanah is coming, and I'm telling you what, they're not going to get away with it, and they better repent because this is a time for Jews to go back to source, and I'm telling you what, it's not going to work for you this time. Oh, no, not this time. Better get ready.
George Soros.
I am unable to answer that as he's already threatened to sue me.
Okay, I'll take that. Mel Gibson.
Satan and Hitler together.
Okay. They won't use that in the court of law at all. Mm-mm. Mel Gibson.
Cute. He's cute. He was so nice to me.
He's a nice guy.
He let me use the scenes from Braveheart for my Hanukkah play at my synagogue. It's so nice.
You had to ask Mel Gibson for a Hanukkah play?
Well, I had a Hanukkah play at my synagogue, and I had it be like Braveheart, you know, because they were the Maccabees, and I used that as the background for the kids to, come down and fight the Hellenists. I used the clip of Braveheart.
Wow, see, that's a difference between you and me, because if I was doing something like that, I would just use it, assuming he's not going to find out that I was doing it at my, you know, my local church.
Well, I wanted him to know. And he said, go for it. So I had, you know, they were defiling the temple. I did this. It was so funny. And so I had this guy who had an actual Oscar. And so I had the Greeks come in with the Oscar, and they defiled the temple by putting it on the altar.
It's been great to see you.
It's been so great to see you,
Hope to see you again.
I hope to see you again, too. Thank you. Thanks for letting me call these
Satan's
what they are, Satan-worshiping Democrat donors.